E. Salah of a few Sahaba, Tabi'is, and Sufis. It is said about Hassan radiallahu anhu that whenever he performed wudu, his face grew pale. When someone inquired from him its cause, he replied, "It is the time to stand before the most majestic and irresistible sovereign." On reaching the gate of the masjid, he would say, "O Allah, thy slave is at thy door. O the most beneficent, here is a sinner before thee. Thou hast enjoined upon the good amongst us to overlook the faults of the bad. O Allah, thou art good, and I am bad. So for the sake of all that is most beautiful in thee, overlook all that is ugly in me. O the most bountiful." That would then enter the masjid. He would then enter the masjid. Zayn al-Abidin Rahmatullah alayhi used to offer 1,000 raka'ah of salah, nafil, daily. He never missed his tahajjud, whether on journey or at home. His face grew pale when he performed his wudu, and he would tremble when he stood up for salah. Someone asked him the reason for that. He said, "Don't you know before whom I am going to stand?" Once, when he was engaged in salah, fire broke out at his house. He continued his salah most calmly. When asked about it, he remarked, "The fire of the Aqra kept me unmindful of the fire of this world." He once said, "The pride of a proud person surprises me. The day before, he was a drop of dirty fluid, and tomorrow he will be a dead body, and he's still proud." Now, if it's like unto the Arabic of the Quran, it's not referring to it as dirty fluid. It's a fluid you can keep away from, an ejected fluid. Westerners with their trying to make sex dirty. "And tomorrow he will be a dead body, and he still is proud." He used to say, "It is strange that people do so much for the world, which is to end one day, and do nothing for the Akhirah, where they are to live forever." He used to help the poor in the darkness of the night, so that they should not even know who helped them. It came to light only after his death that no less than 100 families were being supported by him. It is said about Ali radiallahu anhu that the color of his face would change and he would tremble at the approach of the hour of salah. On being asked by someone, he said, "This is the time for discharging the trust which heaven and earth and even the mountains were afraid to bear. I do not know if I shall be able to discharge it." It is said of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu that when he heard adhan, he wept so much that his shawl would get wet with his tears. His veins would swell and his eyes would become red. Somebody said to him, "We do not see anything in adhan that should make you so nervous." He replied, "If people understood what the mu'adhin announced to them, they would give up sleep and forsake their comforts." He then explained to him the warning conveyed by each word of adhan. A person narrates, "I happened to offer my Asr prayer with Dhu al-Mun al-Misri rahmatullah alayhi. When he uttered Allah and Takbir, he was so much struck with awe on account of Allah's majesty as though his soul had departed, and when he uttered Akbar, I felt my heart bursting with fear of Allah." Uwais al-Qarni rahmatullah alayhi, a famous saint and the most exalted of all the tabi'is, would spend his whole night, sometimes in ruku and sometimes in sajda. Isam rahmatullah alayhi once inquired from Hatim al-Zahid al-Balki rahmatullah alayhi how he offered his salah. He replied, "When the hour for salah approaches, I perform my wudu thoroughly and go to the place of salah. When I stand for salah, I visualize Kaaba in front of me, the Sirat under my feet, Jannah on my right, Jahannam on my left, and malakul mount over my head, and I think that it is my last salah, as I may have no opportunity to say another. Allah alone knows what goes on in my heart at that time. Then I say, Allahu Akbar, with full humility, and recite the Holy Quran, pondering over its meaning. I do my ruku and sajda with full humbleness and submission, and finish my salah quite calmly, hoping that Allah will accept it through His mercy, and fearing that it may be rejected if it is judged on its merits. Issam Rahmatullah asked him, Since when have you been offering such salah? Hatim Rahmatullah replied, I have been doing it for the last 30 years. Issam Rahmatullah wept and said, I have never been so fortunate as to offer a single salah of this kind. It is said that Hatim Rahmatullah once missed his salah with Jama'ah and felt it too much. A couple persons went to condole him on this loss. He started weeping and then said, If I had lost one of my sons, half the population of Baktown would have come to me for condolence. But on the loss of my Jama'ah, you are the only people condoling with me. It is only because people regard the troubles in the Akhirah as lighter than the troubles of this world. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyab Rahmatullah says, For the last 20 years I've never been out of masjid at the time of Adhan. Muhammad ibn Wasiya Rahmatullah says, I left 3 things in this life: a friend who could warn me on my mistakes, bread sufficient to keep me alive, and salah with Jama'ah, such that Allah may condone its defects and give me reward for anything good in it. Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah radiallahu anhu was once leading the salah. When the salah was over, he said to the people, Shaitan made a dangerous attack on me while I was leading the salah. He made me think that, as I was leading salah, I'm the best of all of you. I shall never lead the salah again. Maymun ibn Mihran Rahmatullah once reached the masjid when the Jama'ah was over. He recited Inna Allahi wa inna alayhi raji'un and said, The reward of this salah with Jama'ah was dearer to me than the kingdom of Iraq. It is said that the Sahaba would mourn for 3 days if they happened to miss the first takbir, and for the 7 days if they missed Jama'ah. Bakr ibn Abdullah once said, You can speak to your Allah and Master any time you like. How? Inquired somebody. He replied, Perform your wudu properly and stand up for salah, which means making contact, which is an essential concept in monotheism. That's why we don't pray to prophets and angels and all that. We just make direct contact with God. Aisha radiallahu anhu says, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be among us, talking and listening, but on approach of the salah hour, he would all of a sudden behave as if he had known us and would be completely absorbed in Allah. It is said of Sa'id al-Tanuki rahmatullah that as long as he remained in salah, tears would flow from his eyes continuously. Somebody asks Khalaf ibn Ayyub rahmatullah, Do not the flies annoy you in your salah? His answer was, Even the bad characters in society patiently bear the lashes of the police to boast of their endurance afterwards. Why should I then be disturbed by mere flies while standing in the presence of my Allah? It is said in Bahjat al-Nufus that one of the Sahaba was once offering tahajjud when a thief came and took away his horse. He noticed it, but he did not break his salah. Someone asked him, Why did you not break your salah to catch the thief? He replied, I was engaged in something far more valuable than the horse. It is said about Ali, radiallahu anhu, that whenever an arrow got stuck into his body in battle, this was drawn out during his salah. Once he got an arrow stuck in his thigh, this could not be extricated, in spite of several efforts due to severe pain felt by him. When he was at his nafil salah and prostrate in sajda, the people drew out the arrow with force. When he finished salah, he asked the people collected around him, "Have you gathered to take out the arrow?" When they told him it was already taken out, he informed them that he had not felt pain during the extraction. When Muslim ibn Yasar stood up for salah, he said to his family members, "You may keep talking, I shall not be aware of what you talk." It is said of Umar ibn Abdullah rahmatullah that he would not even hear the beating of a drum while in salah, not to mention the talk of the people around him. A person asked him, "Are you conscious of anything while in salah?" He replied, "Yes, I am conscious of the fact that I have to stand one day before Allah, when I shall either be sent to Jannah or Jahannam." The person said, "No, I do not mean that. Do you come to know of anything we talk around you?" He said, "It is better that spears pass through my body rather than that I grow conscious of your conversation while I am in salah." He used to say, "My conviction in the things of the akhirah is so perfect that it is impossible for it to improve even if I happen to see those things with my own eyes." A pious man was once asked, "Do you ever think of this world while you're in salah?" He replied, "I never think of this world either in salah or out of it." Another such man was asked, "Do you think of anything while in salah?" He replied, "Is there anything more attractive than salah itself to think of?" In Bahjat al-Nufus, it is written about a sheikh that he had either been offering fard or nafil salah, or had been absorbed in dhikr without break, right from Dhuhr to Fajr of the next day. After Fajr, while continuing dhikr, he was overpowered by sleep, when immediately he recited Istighfar and the following prayer: "I seek refuge in Allah from the eye that does not get satisfied with sleep." It is said about another sheikh that he would go to bed and try to sleep, but when he failed in his attempt, he would rise up and engage himself in salah and would say, "O Allah, thou knowest very well that it is the fear of Jahannam that has caused my sleep to disappear." There are so many stories about the pious people spending their nights praying in eagerness and love of Allah, that these cannot possibly be covered in one book. We have, in fact, lost the taste for the pleasures of such pursuits so much that we have begun to doubt the truth of such facts. But those have been related so frequently and continuously that if we doubt them, we can as well doubt history, for frequency and continuity in narration about an event prove its correctness without dispute.